Thanks. Minister, during the estimates hearing on the 26th of October, the Thursday, you undertook that you would meet with Mr de Garis after that hearing. Did you end up doing that?
Senator Watt, you are correct that I did indeed indicate that I intended to sit down with my staff member and discuss the issues that had been raised with him. You will also recall that I indicated at the hearings that I had attempted to contact the relevant former staff member on the evening of the 25th of October 2017 after this estimates hearing, after the estimates hearing had concluded, and the following morning prior to the estimates hearing. Following the estimates hearing on the Thursday the 26th of October 2017, my office received advice that due to the likelihood of this matter being subject to an AFP investigation, it was not recommended that I have discussions with my former staff member lest it prejudice the investigation. I therefore, on that advice, have not spoken to my former staff member to ensure that I do not prejudice the AFP investigation.
So when was the last time you had contact with Mr de Garis?
As I stated in the evidence that I gave to the estimates hearing, I had attempted to contact him after the estimates hearing on the evening of the 25th of October 2017, and I also advised, I believe, the following morning, the Estimates Committee, that I had attempted to contact him, but again had been unsuccessful.
Okay, and so you've never asked him whether anyone else in your office knew about the leak?
Again, I need to be very, very careful here, given the public interest immunity claim and the AFP investigation. But to date, I have not spoken with my former staff member based on the advice that we received that discussions with him may prejudice the investigation.
Sure. I'm not asking about whether you spoke to him after that point. What I'm asking is whether you ever asked him or spoke to him about whether he discussed this matter with anyone else in your office.
I believe that the evidence I gave to the committee on the evening of the 25th of October, which I believe was the Wednesday evening, was that during the dinner break he came to me, he advised me of the course of conduct and resigned his employment. I then came to the committee and advised the committee of what had occurred, and I have not spoken to Mr de Garis since that time.
Sure. I think that is roughly what you did tell the committee last time, but there's nothing in there that shows that you ever asked him about whether he had spoken about this matter with anyone else in your office.
Again, I refer to the evidence that I have already given, but in relation to any further questions, Chair, I would need to take it on notice. Again, I want to assist the committee, but I do not want to prejudice the AFP investigation.
Minister, in this occasion I agree. I think that is appropriate. You've said that you'll take it on notice to make sure that the information you provide doesn't prejudice that ongoing AFP investigation.
And is it correct then that you've also never spoken to Mr de Garis about whether he discussed either the plan to leak or the action of leaking with any other ministerial office, including the Prime Minister's?
Sorry, I couldn't hear the first part of that question.
I wasn't clear on the question either.
No.
Can you just rephrase that?
It sounds like you have never discussed with Mr de Garis whether he discussed his actions in leaking this information with any other ministerial office, including the Prime Minister's office.
Again, Senator Watt, I do not have the benefit of Hansard in front of me, but I do believe some of these issues that you have raised were canvassed, and I can't recall whether it was at the Wednesday estimates or the Thursday estimates, and I don't have the benefit of the Hansard in front of me, so I would refer back to the evidence that has already been given. But again, Chair, Given the nature of the PII claim and the fact that there is an AFP investigation on foot, can I also take that on notice and seek advice as to whether or not it's appropriate at this point in time to provide information?
Minister, absolutely, and I suspect we'll be coming back on the same issue after the lunch break, and if you are able to have a look at the Hansard, for example, that you haven't got the opportunity of, or if you need to take it on notice, that would be good. Thank you.
Can I just confirm that the ABCC is not...
No, so I was going to mention this at the break, but after consultations with the members of the committee, we will be requiring both agencies back after the break, but I've been assured that the ABCC will come on this afternoon before 3 o'clock.
Can't wait.
Yep.
So the ABC are required
Yes.
Yes,
to...
they are.
Sorry, we're not releasing them or
No.
anything. Right, sorry, just so I can confirm that.
When was the last time your Chief of Staff attempted to contact Mr de Garis?
Again, Chair, that is directly relevant to the PII claim, so I will take that on notice.
Thank you.
Why is it relevant to a police investigation to know when your Chief of Staff last contacted Mr de Garis?
Because discussions that my staff have had in terms of the alleged leak or the ROCS investigation into the AWU are subject to the PII claim in relation to the AFP investigation and obviously the sub judice rules in relation to the investigation, the law.
But again, you've taken
But
that
I'm
on
happy,
notice.
as I said, I'm happy to take all of the questions on notice and seek advice.
Thank
If they can be responded to, then we will obviously look at what can be provided to the committee.
This is a terrific tactical cover-up, isn't it?
Senator
Chair,
Cameron,
can I just say, it is out of respect to the AFP investigation and the courts. The Attorney-General has made a public interest immunity claim.
which the committee has accepted.
Which the committee has accepted. And as the committee would be aware, there is now court proceedings in relation to the ROCS investigations, and these are therefore sub judice. On that basis, out of respect for both the AFP investigation and the courts, I am happy to take questions on notice and seek advice as to what information can be responded to.
Minister, just to be very clear that the the most recent interjection from Senator Cameron was out of order, and as I have previously indicated, the public interest immunity claim on behalf of that AFP inquiry, the committee has accepted, and you are absolutely within your rights, and it is proper for you as the Minister or for any other official to take particular questions on notice, to get legal counsel to make sure that it will not be breaching the inquiry, and come back on notice. So please, Senator Watt, continue.
Point of order.
Yes.
On the issue, the Attorney General...
Which particular issue? Which particular issue?
The issue of the public interest immunity.
Yes.
The Attorney General can make whatever claim the Attorney General likes. The Minister must make a claim, and the Minister must advise the grounds of the claim, and the Minister must advise what harm comes.
And as the Minister has done on every occasion, the Minister has done exactly that, Senator Cameron, as you know she has, and you are now wasting Senator Watt's questioning time with this point. So, Senator Watt, back to you.
I will just note that the Prime Minister in question time around the time of these raids was quite happy to go into the ROC's investigation, its legal action against the AWU, and there was no sub judice rule preventing the Prime Minister doing that.
Is there a question here for the Minister?
Chair, can I just clarify on that basis? My understanding is if the last question time of the House of Reps, and I would need to clarify this, but I don't believe the AFP investigation...
No, I was talking about the AWU case. He was quite happy to talk about that.
But Senator Watt...
Had legal action been
Minister...
in relation to...
Minister, that is a very... It is outside the scope of what the particular issue that Senator Watt was actually talking about.
I just want to be careful, though, because I think if the allegation is that there has been someone who has breached a sub judice rule, I think that's actually
He didn't invoke the...
quite serious.
Everyone stopped talking about it when it went pear-shaped.
Senator Watt, if you'd like to make political commentary, you're welcome to do so
I'll move on,
outside
I'll
of
move
this
on.
hearing. Please resume your questioning.
I've provided the minister with another BuzzFeed story.
I haven't yet received
Okay.
it.
Your time has actually expired, Senator
Can
Watt.
I just have a couple of minutes just to round this off? And then...
I'll give you 2 minutes.
Yep.
But I will give Senator Patterson his full 10
Sure.
minutes.
Sorry, can I
So can I just clarify? So we've now got a third article, BuzzFeed article from Alice Workman. Is that right?
Yep.
She's been very busy.
Yeah,
the last,
she seems to have an
24
interest.
hours.
She seems to have an interest in this
My
issue.
question is she also reporting on Sam
Well, I was going to say,
Destiari?
you might want to put her on. You might want to put her on.
Exactly. Is
staff.
she also reporting on Sam Destiari?
In fact, why don't we?
Seriously, I think if you had a bit of a look at
Chair,
her Twitter feed,
Chair,
you'd
Chair,
find that she doesn't report on certain
Point of order,
issues.
Chair.
Yes.
Senator McDonald has just alleged repeatedly that Ms Workman is a member of the Labor Party. I'd ask him to withdraw
Is
that.
she a member of the Labor Party?
No, you said she's probably a member of the Labor
Well,
Party.
is she?
I'd ask you to withdraw that.
You asked.
I think you should withdraw that.
I withdraw it. You tell me if she is a member of the
I
Labor
have no
Party.
idea.
Well,
Senator
I think
McDonald-
Senator Cameron might know which
Senator
branch she's
Senator
in.
McDonald. Senator McDonald.
So, do my 2 minutes start now?
So your 2 minutes start now.
Thank you.
Now, so hang on, just to be clear. So you've just tabled a third. Now, which is the third?
This is the one headed investigators unable to find Michaelia
There are so many
Cash's
BuzzFeed
ex-staff
articles
after
that you're
serving the
relying on
federal
this morning.
court
It's hard to
support
keep
in-
up. So you're now tabling. So in line with my other rulings, comments, this is again another public article which doesn't need to be tabled,
Sorry,
and the committee
yep.
will accept this.
Okay, thank you.
Although it might just be quicker to get Ms Workman here to give evidence herself, I think, but continue.
Okay. Now that Senator Cash, this article says that AWU investigators have been unable to locate Mr de Garis to serve court papers on him. Do you know where he is?
Again, that is directly relevant to the court case that is at hand and absolutely would contravene the sub judice principles. So on that basis, Chair, I am unable to answer that question.
Can you think of any reason why he'd want to flee the country?
If you know that he has left the country, that is for you to state.
I'm just asking.
But-
The article says they're going to have to start looking overseas for him.
Well, again, I don't
speculates that
know
AWU
whether or not this
investigators
journalist...
might wish to.
I don't know where this article has come from. I'm assuming she's talking to the union or to the Labor Party.
The other point that's raised.
I haven't actually had an opportunity to read the whole thing. I'm trying to answer the questions whilst at the same
Got 1 minute
time
left,
read the article.
Sorry, 1 minute.
But, Chair, this would directly be in relation to the current court proceedings. In fact, I think it states it is.
The other point, you might remember, in the previous hearings.
Senator Cash, I do. Yes, it is.
Just looking at...
You might remember in the previous hearings, you assured us that he was being asked, Mr de Garis was being asked to leave his work phone and all his equipment behind when he resigned, so that could be looked at for the investigation. But I notice in this article that it says, after resigning, de Garis was allowed to leave Parliament House with his work phone and without providing Cash's office with a full debrief on the incident. However, he was and still is making and taking calls on his work phone to journalists in the press gallery. Have steps been taken to ensure that Mr de Garis's phone and any other equipment that he may have used in this leak has been returned to the government?
The answer to that is yes. This was clearly articulated at the previous estimates hearings. But, Chair, given that this... I don't know enough, I'd refer to it as an article, to be honest with you. I think a trainee journalist could do better myself. But can I, because that allegation has been made in the article, can I get Ms Hartland, the Secretary, to again
Please.
remind the committee of what occurred?
Please, Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. Senator, I think I did answer this, I think, at the last hearing.
You did.
There are equipment that is owned by the department that is provided to officers, such as the officer in question. There were a number of items that were departmental property that were secured on the Wednesday, the 25th, and were collected on Thursday, and that included the phone that was the property of the department. I think it included a from memory, I think it was a laptop and I think a USB sort of. And that was all secured, as I said at the time, and brought back into the department, secured in an evidentiary state in case it was required. And I can also say I know that the passes, there was liaison that happened with Department of Parliamentary Services to ensure that access to the building and things was cut off. I think it was, from memory, I think it was at 8:10 on that Thursday morning that happened. But I know I've taken that on notice and we'll provide...
So if he had a personal phone, and if he was using a personal phone for work purposes through this leak, that has not necessarily been
I can only deal
secured.
with departmental property and...
Well,
that's-
Minister, have steps been taken to secure any personal phone or personal equipment that may have been used in this leak?
And if they, I mean, it would be a matter for the AFP, if I can say, Senator, if there were other items that the AFP were wanting to look at and secure, then that would come into their jurisdiction.
Last
and they would look
question.
at that.
Yeah, we'll break for lunch.
Mr de Garis was your senior media advisor. It's not uncommon for people in that position to be able to have administration rights over your social media, be able to tweet and send social media posts on your behalf. Have your passwords to your social media accounts been changed since Mr de Garis resigned so that he can't access your social media accounts?
I would need to take that on notice, but I believe I changed my password, yes.
Okay,
But I need
we'll
to
take it on
check.
notice. Yep, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Well, it being almost 12:30, this committee will break now for the lunch break. We will resume at 1:30 with Senator